Hello, please confirm if you can hear me now. Kindly confirm if you can hear. We're trying to sort out the audio issues. Please confirm if you can hear me now. Okay, I think the audio issue has been resolved. We apologize for the mistake. The technical team did not identify the issue on time. So while I was handling the first section, okay, you know what we're going to do? Like we said earlier, please check the description. Check the description of the training. The materials are there. The link to the material is there. Just check the description, the link. So and please, if you have checked it, if you have downloaded the material, please, I want to see. I want to read from you. Type that I now have the material. If you now have the material, please type it there. I've downloaded the material, or I now have the material. So please, um, we need to be very certain about that. Apologies about the first instance about the audio. So once you have the material, okay, you now have the material. Okay, great. Just check the link in the description. You will see the link there. Check the description. You will see the link to download. Click on it. Download the material. So just go ahead. Now, because of the issues that we encountered earlier, what we're going to do is that I will take it afresh again. I'm just going to I'm just going to start afresh. Um, the I'm going to start afresh again with the training. Okay. All right. I think a lot people are now saying that they can see the material, they can download the material. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and start afresh again. Okay, but I'm going to be very fast about that because I've done that earlier. So what I'm saying here is this is the customer retention training, and the essence of doing customer retention in the first instance is because organizations have customers and these customers need to be retained. That's the essence, or that's the reason why we are undertaking the customer retention training in the first instance. Okay, that said, so the customer retention training, in this training, we're going to be discussing customer experience, customer recovery, customer retention, and customer loyalty retention. Of course, we believe that if you are taking this training, you should, of course, you are a customer, you should have interest in pursuing a career in customer service, retention, or relationship management. By the time we're done with this training, we expect that you would have the excellent understanding on how to maintain good customer relationship, and as well understand how to improve customers' experience and retain customers, understand the methods of retaining customers, and manage customers' loyalty. Okay, that said, of course, I'm going to be very fast with this. I'm going to be very fast. Now, let's go straight to customer experience. We've spent a lot of time already. Let's go to customer experience. Now, we're saying customer experience. What is it? What is customer's experience? It is the experience. It is the impression that a brand creates in the mind of the customer when they interact with it. Now, a practical example here is, like I said earlier, that a practical example is if I walk into a bank now and a bank branch, and I request, maybe I just want to request for an ATM card, and I step into that particular branch as at 8 a.m. in the morning, or 10 minutes past 8, and I spend all the whole day there, and I'm leaving by 3:50 p.m. Yet I still did not get that ATM card that I went in there to get. I have a negative impression that I've already created. Because I'll ask myself, how can I spend a whole day just to get an ATM card, and at the end of the day, I didn't get the card? That's crazy. That does not make any sense. It's a negative impression that the brand creates. While or whereas if I visit another branch, another a particular branch, I'm going to, if I just I can even there are some brands, or there are some banks that their processes are already automated. Once I can just use the machine, and I use a self service, and I get the card printed, and if I even change my pin, create my pin, change it, and then I use that item to withdraw, and all this is in less than let's say, as long as the machine is free, in less than an hour, I'm done. So of course, if I have visited branches where I was treated like this, and I stand that branch where it takes me for a whole day, and I was still not able to get the card, then it means that there's an issue. It's a negative experience created by this brand A, and I'm having a positive experience created by brand B. So what we are saying is this: that impression that was created, negative or positive, is the experience that I have had with the brand. So tomorrow, if I have a friend or I get home, I'll tell my friends, oh, do you know I visited this particular brand? I spent the whole day yet I did not get, because well, that's my immediate self interest, and I'm going to spread the word there. Not because I want to demarket the brand, but because I want to tell about my experience with the brand. The same way it is if I have a positive experience. Take for instance, I visit an eatery, and I love the aesthetics, I love the food, I love the cuisine, I love everything about that particular eatery. I want to, if I want to take my friends, I want to take my family, I want to take my relative, I want to take them to go visit there. I say, I discovered a new place in town where a new restaurant in town. I want you to go come visit there with me. So that's more like spreading the word without the brand paying me for that, without the restaurant paying me for that, because that's what it is. Excellent and awesome experiences help drive people and make them even become advocates for the brand. Okay, so now that said, what we're talking about measuring a customer's experience. One of them is customer that is emotional intelligence. Of course, if people are angry, you can see that from the emotions that they exude, that they are angry and they're not happy about the brand. Take for instance, there's the times where you purchased something from a particular brand and you are happy about it. You find out that your emotions practically show that you are not happy with that brand. Secondly, is through surveys. We can measure as customer retention officers. Um, when we have meetings like this, try to understand how do we measure the experiences of customers. Yes, one of them is through surveys. We administer surveys. And now, as a retention officer, one of the things that you are going to be doing is that you will have forms given out to you. It can be digital forms, it can be hard copies that will be spread out that for you to share with customers so that they can give their feedback. Then that can be that. Then secondly, it can be through digital for when we are giving list of dormant accounts or list of inactive accounts or inactive clients to reach out to them and reactivate them back. So you want to call these clients, find out of course there are list there's a questionnaire that you have to roll out to them, ask them questions, find out why they stopped doing business. Of course, the list of those questions we're going to be considering them subsequently. Okay, I think some people are still saying that they can't see the material. Please check the description of this training. Check the description of this training below. You are going to see a link for you to download the material. You check the description, the link is there. So you can just click on it and download the material. Okay, that is for people saying that they can't see it. Okay, now we'll go ahead to talk about the next one. So the next one we talked about is assessing customer experience through the churn rate. If we find out that in January, we gained, the audition gained 100 new customers, and we we have lost 50 customers out of them. 50 out of those new customers are refusing to do or to continue doing business with the organization. It means that there's an issue. It means that our churn rate is at 50%. So we want to find out why that is, what exactly is the problem. Of course, we're going to talk about that where we begin. So one of the ways of doing ascertaining that is through the customer journey analytics. So if we're having a churn rate of 50%, so we begin to consider from from the customer journey analytics, we want to find out, okay, at what point do this customer have the challenges that they have? At what point are they frustrated? Where are these bottlenecks? So begin to find out where the bottlenecks are with the product or with the services, so we can remove the bottlenecks for the customers and make it easy for them to use the product or access the product or services provided by the organization. Then we'll go ahead to talk about customer satisfaction score. Of course, we found that sometimes when we use some apps or we use some technologies, we have we're always presented with a dashboard where we can rate our experience, can rate them 5 over 10, 5 over 5, 4 over 5, 3 over 5. 1 over 2 over 5, 1 over 5, of course. So in this, from that satisfaction score, we can see, take for instance, everyone who is just using a particular, maybe we're an app company, and everyone who is using our app is rating us 1 over 5, 1 over 5, 1 over 5. It means that there's a problem with the app. So if we are getting 20% over 100, it means that the app is either malfunctioning, that is one, or the app is not meeting the promoted solution that we promised the customers, or the customers are unable to use the app. So it's either we need to educate, we need to do a campaign or a training to train the customers on how to use our apps, or we need to understand, are we over promising and under delivering through the app, so we can we jig the marketing. This is for the organization to do now. Then, or we find out if the customers themselves are having issues trying to use the app, or where the bottlenecks are with the services provided by the organization. So maybe they are unable to access customer service, or they are unable to. What exactly is the problem? By investigating it, we find it and we can resolve what the issues are. Okay, I think that's it. Then we'll talk about true support tickets and trend. Now, if we have an app or we're an app company and customers use the app, so from there we can be able to find out, okay, from the support tickets that customers are reporting, issues that customers are reporting all the time. Let's say customers are saying they cannot use XYZ button, they are having issues with XYZ button, and maybe if we have 100,000 customers on the app, and we've received over 20,000 people, 20,000 of the customers have opened a support ticket and saying that they cannot use a particular button. Then that's an issue, because we're having over 20% of our customer base complaining about it, but that's a huge one. So we begin to work on it immediately. So that's that. From there, we can be able to understand that people are not happy. There may be about a particular product, or a particular or a new feature that was included, or a feature that should be included. We can get all those feedback from customers while they use that, maybe the app. That's if we are an app company. Okay, that's if we work with an app company. Okay, that said, from the support tickets, we can be able to ascertain all these issues. Okay, let's go on to talk about the next one. Please roll on to the next slide. Investigating these issues. Now that we have understood how we can measure the customer's experience, in what ways we can measure them. Now we want to talk. I want to take into consideration, how can we investigate these issues? Remember, I said earlier, as a customer retention person, your duty is to retain customers. That is what your job role is. Like we established yesterday, but we established previously about customer service role. The customer retention role is to retain customers for the organization. Because if we continue to have churn rates, it means that the customer retention team is not doing their job excellently well. So now, what do we do? As customer retention officers, our core of our duty is investigation. It's investigating the customer's experience. So we investigate the customer's experience to study what the problems are, what needs to be improved on, what we are currently doing well, so we can improve, we can keep doing them, or we can even replicate or increase that even more. Okay, now we go ahead to talk about the one of the first things when it comes to investigating customers' experience: questioning. Questioning is, of course, we are giving online forms to fill. We have the customers' details. We have all the information about that we're going to be requesting from customers. That's all the questions that we're going to be requesting from customers. So when we ask them those questions to get those feedback, of course, we put in their details, their name, the things that identify these customers with the organization. So by the time we do that, we include those information and we begin to ask them those basic questions, that's those investigative questions, to help us understand the experiences of these customers with the brand thus far. And while we're investigating, while we're questioning them, we are paying close attention to details. That's the second point. Now we're paying close attention to details. So we're asking them questions, paying close attention to details, and trying to find out what went wrong. Why did they stop using the? That's from all the questions that are listed on the app, that are listed in the questionnaires. So while we are running the questionnaires with them, finding out what if the issues, are investigating them. Now, while we're doing that, we are paying close attention to details. So we're paying attention to details to find out what's the ones that are telling, or those that do not. Then paying close attention to details helps us to understand more questions that needs to be asked. So because in asking question A, that question A leads to question B, and question B leads to question C. That is where, because we are practicing and we're paying attention to details, where customers are giving you about certain feedbacks, certain feedback about on their experiences with the organization. What we do is that we are taking those from that feedback they are giving, we're asking them even more questions to practically investigate or detailedly investigate that issue. Okay, Okay, so while we're having that conversation, want to also let the customer know that this conversation is being recorded, which brings us to the third point. We record that conversation so that for reference purposes, we can return back to that conversation and listen over to it, listen over on it again, and find out, okay, this is what the customer said, and this is what the customer did not say. Okay, that said, while we are doing that, we are also documenting every detail that this customer have we're documenting every single detail that this customer is stating out here. So while we're documenting that, so we've talked about the top four. So we talked about questioning, which leads to attention to details, and in attention to details, we are asking even more questions. And while we are doing that, we are recording the conversation, and whilst we are documenting, we are writing out, or we're making a report on all that and all that the customer is talking about, or all the reports the customer is giving. Okay, please, if you're just joining, the material to this particular training is in the link below, in the description below. Kindly check the description of this training below. You see a link to download. Click on it and download the material and join us. We are about concluding the first session of the training. We are at the stage of investigating a customer's experience. Okay, now that we are at the stage of we are documenting the customer's experience, or the reports on what the customer is giving to us. Now, because we have been saddled with the responsibility of reactivating this account, of regaining or recovering this particular customer. It means they are going to directly engage this customer. When we directly engage this customer, so we can be over the phone, it can be that afterwards we can say, okay, well, this particular customer, whoever it is that's going to resolve the problem, we move it to that particular desk, and the issues are resolved. Whatever issues it is are resolved. Now, take for instance, if the customer needs to appear physically within the walls of the office, then we can schedule the customer to come in physically and have so maybe there's a biometry that needs to be done, or whatever it is, we can help solve the problem. So what we're saying is, it's not about just taking record about the customer's experiences, but now directly engaging, and we're engaging to resolve that problem and to bring in the customer. So now, by asking the questions, paying attention to detail, recording the conversation, doing the documentation on the reports, we now have clear evidence of what the problem is, or clear reports on what the problem is. Then we'll engage with that customer and resolve the problem. Now, while we are doing all this, we are paying close attention to details, to non-verbal cues, for irregularities. Now, in case the customer is complaining about one thing, because sometimes customers can complain about a particular issue, and that particular problem that they're complaining about is not even the root cause. But that's why you're a retention officer. That's why you are doing you are using investigative questioning to find out what the problem is, and at the end of the day, so that the issue can be resolved. So in questioning with that customer, we find out what the problem is. If what they are suspecting is the problem is not the problem, we can advise them or guide the customer right to resolve what the problem is. Okay, I think that said, we are done with that investigation now. So while we are questions that can be asked, that is some of the questions we just picked up, top 5 questions that can be asked with regards to finding out or investigating a customer's experiences. What did this customer like? What exactly attracted them in the first instance? What did they like about the brand? What have they been doing that they like? So we need to get those information to understand, okay, this is what we have been doing that the customer like. Then we're not saying this is what we are. Then we also want to ask the customer, what have we been doing that they do not also like? Because if we find out we've been doing that they did not like, we also need to find out what we've been doing that they like. So of course, so that we can continue to do them even much more better. Then why did they now stop buying? We need to get these reasons. More importantly, why did the customer stop buying in the first instance? Then we also want to go ahead to ask questions about the customer type and category. But this particular one is not that we're going to be asking the customer what is their type and category. No, that's not that. On the form, of course, the form that are presented to the retention officers, there is details where we can categorize the customer we are talking about. That's the customer type and category. We can be able to properly profile the customer that we are discussing with, so that this customer, now this profiling helps the organization to properly identify the customer and provide them accurately in order to solve the problem or the reported complaints. Now, finally, the suggestions and the feedback of the customers, more importantly, their feedbacks, their suggestions, what they feel can be done to improve their experiences with the brand. These information are much more critical um, because they're the ones wearing the shoe. I mean, they know where it inches them the most, so they can give us feedback about how we can improve their experiences with the organization. Okay, that said, we move on to the next one about how then can we improve the experiences of a customer. As customer retention officers, we need to have this ample understanding, of course, with us, because when you are saddled with the responsibility of retrieving or reactivating a dormant relationship, a failed relationship with a of the brand and the customer, it is important for you to know what to do. Now, one of them is giving gifts. So gifts are given. Of course, gifts are given to customers. We know what gifts does to people. Of course, gifts can influence relationship. Of course, it can change the mind of people. That's what gifts do. So small gifts can help angry customers make a U-turn in their decisions. Okay, then we'll talk about thank you notes. Of course, this is when it's often more important when a customer, of course, maybe the customer, while even when they complain, we thank them for bringing the complaint to our attention, and at the end of the day, resolving what the complaints are. Then, thank you notes here practically means when this customer, during the period where this customer is transacting with your we let them know, okay, we appreciate them, we send them thank you notes. Of course, we see some organization when we visit them, when we visit some places where so thank you for visiting, thank you for patronizing us, thank you for banking with us, thank you for buying from us, thank you. So these thank you notes, it, they seem so little, but of course it helps the service agents who are there to know that the customers are the kings, and of course without customers, there's no there won't be any business in the first instance, and there won't be any job for anyone. Then we'll go ahead to talk about the bonus packages. Of course, bonus packages can be given to customers to influence them, of course, to change their decisions and bring them back. Then we'll talk about, okay, we also talk about requesting feedbacks. Yes, requesting feedbacks is very great because it can improve customers' experience. We talked about getting this information, direct information from customers can help the organization properly channel the solution or properly channel resources into the right solution for customers, because we can't assume that we know the problem. We need the customers to tell us exactly what they want us to improve on, of course. Then go ahead to talk about greeting cards. Greeting cards can send during their celebration times, during their birthdays, during their anniversaries. Greeting cards to acknowledge them, to ensure that, oh yeah, we understand, we appreciate you, we appreciate the fact that you've been with us. We also identify with you during the time of your celebrations as well. Then we'll talk about turnaround time. Turnaround time is one of the major ways of improving customer experiences. The- Like we emphasized earlier in the customer service training, where we talked about that a solution that is provided outside of the deadline is no solution at all. Because if I require a solution in 24 hours and you're providing that solution in 72 hours, I no longer need that solution because the time for which I need that solution has elapsed. It means I won't be needing it anymore. The solution is now it's no longer relevant to me. So that's why we're talking about turnaround time. So if the turnaround time if turnaround time is practically if I need this thing in 24 hours, it means that if the turnaround time is reduced to practically 8 hours or even in 12 hours, then that's awesome because I will be needing this service in 24 hours. Meaning you're promising in 24 hours and the turnaround time is 12 hours or 8 hours and delivery is on time. Of course, this is going to improve my experience. I'm going to be wowed about it if I'm a customer of that particular organization. Okay, that said, why exactly is it even important to manage a customer's experience in the first instance? because it's not just about managing the customer's experience. As a retention officer, it's important that we know it's imperative that we know the importance of our role, the importance of managing the customer's experience. Remember that the essence of customer retention is about managing the experiences of a customer. But if we do not know the reason why we need to manage the customer's experiences, then there's an issue. One of the major reasons of managing the customer's experience is to correct brand impressions. So, of course, when these customers, in every relationship, there's going to be, of course, there will be offenses. Once there is a relation, there's going to be offenses. But how will the parties go about mending that offense, or making up for that offense? It means that's what keeps the relationship going. So now, between the customer and the brand relationship, there's going to be a perception. If and what we're talking about perception here, correcting the perception if it's a negative one. Now, if a brand that do not care about the customer, maybe a customer, take for instance, the customer is reporting, oh, I was debited twice, and at the end of the day, you have reported and reported and reported, and nobody's answering me. So there's a perception, oh, are they just after the money and they're not even paying close attention to just solving people's problem? Or I made a subscription and I have paid for this subscription and the subscription is not activated. Why is it not activated? I'm calling the customer care, nobody's answering me. This is 1 week now into my subscription and nobody's, and this issue is unresolved. Then there's so the impression about them could just be, are they after the money or after service delivery? So now, customer retention officer steps in and corrects that impression by providing solution, resolving the problem and providing solution. So now, that brand perception that has been done, of course, by resolving the problem, we improve the brand impression. We create a whole new impression with the that's on the customer. We create a whole new impression, positive impression. Let them know that we care about our customers. We don't just care about your business with the brand. We care about how you feel. We care about your service, your patronage with our organization. Of course, that said, then one of the major importance of managing customer experience is that there will be more sale and we'll have more customers, more market share. Now, there'll be more sale because if I'm satisfied, what if I'm satisfied with a brand or with a product or a service, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell my friends, do you know I visited this eatery? Do you know I visited this place? Do you know I did this? Do you know I did that? I'm so amazed. Oh, you should try this. So I'm already spreading the word without being paid. I'm spreading the word. I'm spreading the word for that particular brand. That is what it does. So now by spreading that word, I even bring them more customers. They want to try it out, right? So now that's more sales for the organization. Then secondly, take for instance, it's an eatery, and I'm satisfied with the class of service or quality of service that I receive from that particular brand. What I'm going to do tomorrow is that I'm going to say, okay, maybe I want to take my spouse there, or maybe I want to take my friends there, or maybe I want to take my relatives there. So by taking remember when I went alone, I just spent for myself. So by taking my friends there, I'm going to be spending more, right? I'm going to be spending for myself and my friend. If I'm taking my family there, I'm going to be spending for myself and my family members. So that's how managing customer experience can improve the spending of an organization, because I know that each time I visit, if I have an issue with that particular brand, they resolve it on time. Then we'll go ahead to talk about customer advocacy. It increases customer advocacy. I just part of what I just shared right now, that I am just advocating for that particular customer because of my positive experience. I can talk for them. So when I meet a smear campaign, maybe I meet someone as talking negatively about that particular brand. I say, are you sure that that is the brand? Because I use it. I use their services, and in fact I've not even been filled for once by their brand, and it's maybe I can, so I'm advocating for them. I'm speaking well for them. So I think that is that. Then we'll go ahead to talk about promoting customer loyalty. Of course, I'm going to be very loyal to the brand. I'm going to be using their brand all the time. Then there's a reduction in customer churn. Of course, when we have, there'll be no situation of we have 100 customers in January and by March we're having 50. So because we are managing their experience, if they have a negative experience, we want to address the issue, know why they're having that negative experience, and sort the problem out immediately. So by doing that, it means we're not going to be having a reduction. Of course, rather we're going to be having more people, because the customers themselves are the ones going to be telling others to come, and we're going to be onboarding even more customers. Okay, that said, that brings us to the summary of this particular one, which talks about customer experience and managing our customers' experience as well. So, in summarizing that, it is imperative to note that we're closing on this note that only customers with positive experiences can be retained, no matter what we do. If if the customer's experience is not corrected, if the customer's experience does not improve, they cannot be retained. So whatever we are doing, we are saddled with the responsibility to ensure that customer's experience improves. So if their experiences does not improve, we do not expect them to stay. That is very much important to note. Then, secondly, customers will always share their experiences with their sphere of influence, which is their family, their friends, their relatives. They want to tell them, their colleagues in the workplace, they tell them, oh, do you know about this particular brand? Blah, blah, blah. If the experiences are great, they want to tell it. If their experiences are not, they also want to tell it to their spheres of influence. Okay, that said, it takes us to the next section of the training, which is customer recovery. Now, remember we have customer experience. So this brings us to customer recovery, where these customers are being recovered because they have a negative experience. So we want to recover them, right? So that is that. So customer recovery is the actions implemented to convert previously dissatisfied customers into loyal customers. So they are previously dissatisfied. We want to turn them into loyal customers. We want to get them satisfied again and make them to become loyal customers. That's what we want to do with customer recovery. So as a customer retention officer, you are saddled with the responsibility to recover customers who prior to now had a negative experience with the brand, and we're bringing them back to the organization, and we are by improving their experiences and getting them to become loyal customers. Okay, that said, we go ahead to talk about the impressions created. That's impressions of customer recovery. The impression we want to create with customer recovery is that we care, and we understand how you feel as a customer. We understand how you feel as a customer, and you can always trust us to fix every problem, to fix any issue there is with the brand or with the product or with the service that is purchased by a customer. So we always want to create an impression with true customer recovery, and the impression that we're creating with customer recovery is that we care, we understand how you feel as a customer, and you can trust us to fix this within the timeline that we have said we will fix this. So now, how then do we begin the process of customer recovery? One of the major things is that once after the customer have reported the complaint or reported their issues to you as the customer retention officers, we need to thank the customer for bringing it to our attention, because most customers will not even see anything. They will just move ahead and port to the competition. That's just that for them. They don't. So why would they bother saying anything when they know that their direction will not going to improve? So now it's imperative that we thank the customer for taking out their time to report this issue to the customers. Now that we have these issues properly documented, we want to re-emphasize this issue. We want to restate it so that for purpose of clarity, to ensure that okay, this the customer said this and we heard them clearly. So we say, okay, this is what they have stated, this is what they have stated, this is what they have stated, that is the problem, and we're going to resolve it. Okay, now that said, we're going to let them know that we are prioritizing these issues that they have submitted, these issues that they have reported. So we know, okay, we thank them for the issues, we restate the issues so that we know that, okay, that we are clear on what they have reported. Then we want to let them know that we are prioritizing the issues that they have also reported. Then outline the issue resolution process. So we want to go ahead and tell them, okay, this is what we're going to be doing to resolve the problem. Of course, some of them, I'm not even interested in what you want to do, just get the solution. Of course, the angry customer is going to be saying a lot of things. So as a customer retention person, you still have to stay professional and let them know, okay, this is the resolution pathway. If they're interested in if they're interested in being carried along, fine. If they're not interested, it's also fine. So if they're interested, you carry them along by outlining the issue resolution pathway or process with them, then provide them with a timeline. So if this is going to be resolved, if that issue is going to be resolved in 24 hours, let them know that the issue will be resolved in 24 hours and that you're going to be on top of it. So that is that. So there's going to be, we provide an issue resolution pathway or process, and as well as a timeline to the customer. So they know, they are expectant, and they know what to do. They know what to expect from the organization, or they know what to expect from you. Okay, what steps do we take in recovery? Remember, we said the how to, that's kickstarting it, what we can do about it. So now the steps that we're taking in recovering, that's in the customer recovery process. We're going to, of course, apologize for the customer's experience. We empathize with them and apologize for their experiences. That's for negative experiences that they have had. Then we go ahead to review the complaints. We just talked about that. Or to study the failures, where the issues, where the problem is coming from. Then we resolve the reported problems, notify the customer who have reported the problem, that we found the solution for them, and we've resolved the problem. Then after that, we've notified the customer. We also want to follow up with the customer and let them know, follow up with them, call them, reach out to them, find out if, because it's not just about resolving the problem. You can resolve the problem, and at the end of the customer says, "I'm no longer even interested. Don't resolve anything. Just leave. I'm no longer going to use that particular account again." Most people have that resolved, but as long as the issue has been resolved, they might still be angry at that time. But the question is that with time in the future, there will be a need where they will use that particular product or service, and they will go back and start using that product and service again. So the question is that we follow up on them and keep following up on them until they start using the brand or the product or services again. Then we offer small gifts. Offering small gifts, of course, we said about that, and discounts can influence the customer and get them to start using the product and the service again. These are steps that can be taken to recover a customer. Then documenting the customer recovery process. Now, how is it important? How is it a step in the customer recovery? Now, in documentation, we can know, okay, from the list of, maybe just it's not one customer who is reporting it, but when we check from the pool of the customer base, we find out that, let's say, over 25% or over 30% of the customer base of the organization are reporting the same problem. It means this calls for concern, and the organization needs to look into it and resolve what the issues are. Now, we go ahead to talk about the next one, which is the importance of customer recovery. It is important, customer recovery is important because why? It creates the right impression. It creates the right impression. Customer recovery creates the right impression in the mind of the customer, and creates the right impression of a brand, even to outsiders and to non-customers. Now, it also prevents customer churn, like we've talked about earlier. We say it improves brand relationship. Then we also talked about that increases sales and revenue. Of course, customer. These are the importance of customer recovery for us to create the right impression, prevent customer churn, improve the relationship of the brand with its customers. Then go ahead to talk about sales, which will increase our sales and our revenue on the long run. Okay, that said, this brings us to a summary of the customer recovery. And we're saying that the customer recovery is about making amends for service failures. We're making amends for service failures in order to rebuild brand trust and the um, goodwill towards the brand or towards the organization. Okay, I think that said, we've established the fact about customer experience. So if there's a negative experience, we've also established what we can do about that experience and recover back that customer and make them have a positive experience about it. So now, that's it. We believe that the customer is satisfied, the customer is okay, and we've returned back the customer to doing business with the organization through the processes that we have discussed earlier. Then, now that we have now that we have returned back the customers, the next approach or the next agenda will be to retain, how do we then retain this customer? How do we retain this customer? So now, but before we go into customer retention now, I want to also emphasize, if you're just joining, kindly ensure that you check the description of the training. You will see the link to download the material. You see the link to download the material. Click on it and download the training material. Okay, now we are in customer retention. Let's move ahead to talk about it. Customer retention is a plan to connect and to deepen brand grip on customers and prevent them from defecting to the competition. So, what is customer retention all about? We want to deepen the brand grip of the customer of the brand on the customers. And how is this being done? It is by correcting the experience or improving the experience of a customer, improving the perception, correcting the perception, and improving the impressions that a brand has on its customers. So by doing that, the more we create positive impressions, the more we create positive impressions on customers, is the more the brand has more grip on the customer. But the more negative impressions or the more dissatisfactions the customers get, and the more the brand is losing its grip on customers. I think that analogy is very clear now. Okay. And when they are losing that grip on the customers, of course, the competitions are gaining the grips on the customers. Because as they lose the grip, as they lose the grip on the customers, the competition are beginning to get the attention of the customer, and it's only a matter of time the customer will report to the competition. Okay, what are the customer retention goals, or what are the goals for customer retention? Is about providing value to the customers, because you can only retain a satisfied customer. Remember that we said earlier, it's only a customer with positive experience that we can retain. And if we're not for the customer to have a positive experience, it means that they are having value, they are getting value from the organization. So if we provide the customers with value, it means that the customers are going to stay. We can retain them. If we promote the brand goodwill, that of course, as customer retention officers, our job is to promote brand goodwill, provide value to customers. So the customer that feel that they are not getting value, we provide value to them. Then also we go ahead to talk about willingness to make purchases. Now, customer retention is about working with customers such that the customers themselves are willing again to make purchases. It's not if they are unwilling to make purchases, then there's an issue. So that's why we are customer retention officers in the first instance. We work with them to ensure that they start making purchases again from the organization. Then we'll go ahead to talk about creating a sense of satisfaction. Customer retention is about creating a sense of satisfaction that is to help customers feel satisfied or become satisfied when they patronize the products or the services of an organization. Then we'll go ahead to talk about willingness to do repeat patronage. Of course, the major reasons for customer retention is so that the customers can do a repeat patronage. It's not just about keeping the customers and they're not paying. There may be inactive customers or non-productive customers who are not bringing in or adding value to the organization. No, we're talking about at the end of the day. So even if they are retained, we have their information. We're reaching out to them. We in fact we are servicing these customers or the clients. At the end of the day, want to be certain that they are repeating patronage with the organization. They are purchasing, they are buying from the organization. Okay, I think that said, we'll go ahead to talk about customer retention strategies. Customer retention strategies, of course, these are excellent customer services. Excellent customer service is a strategy to customer retention. Subscription systems, of course, these are just for the organization. So we're going to just run through this. After sales, customer follow-up, then customer reward programs, customer acquisition models. These are models for with which customers can be retained in an organization. Strategies that can be implemented to retain customers in an organization. Okay, I think I just rushed through that because that's one practically may not concern us, of course, but where we're having prep meetings, it is our duty to also raise these issues so that the organization can work in that direction. Then when it comes to excellent customer service, that is where it concerns us. After sales follow-up, that is where it concerns us. So we can ensure that we give the customer an excellent support when it comes to servicing those customers. I think that is that. Now, let's go ahead to talk about implementing customer retention. Now, to implement customer retention models, it is imperative that we identify and profile customers accurately. We identify and profile customers accurately. So we know, okay, this particular customer belongs here and this particular customer belongs here. So we profile them accurately. Then we match customers with retention plans. Now, one particular retention plan might not work for all the customers. Discounts might work for a particular customer, might not work for the other one. Excellent service might work, and may not work for the other one. Might be freebies and the rest of that. So it all depends on the retention strategies that work for that particular customer. So, but as customer retention officers, it is our duty to understand the particular retention model that works on a particular customer, so we can advise management on that. Okay, we're going to talk about implementing retention strategies. We implement retention strategies, then we also evaluate the retention results and make process improvements. So we make process improvements because we implement the retention strategies that have been deployed by the management. So we implement them. Then we go ahead to evaluate the retention results and provide reports back to the management. Then so that management can make improvements on the process. So this is the method of implementing customer retention for officers like you and I. Okay, now let's go ahead to talk about improving customer retention. How then do we improve customer retention? Before we even begin to improve customer retention, it means we must understand the customer. We need to understand the customer. So understanding the customer's need is imperative in improving customer retention. If we don't, as retention officers, we do not know the customer's need, then we can't even retain them in the first instance, or what a customer wants. We can't retain them in the first instance. Now we need to verify the before processing. Now this is very much important with regards to customer service officers and not just only the retention officers. Every single details that are supplied by the customers, we need to double verify them and be certain that whatever we're processing is what the customer wants. So we're not processing the wrong transaction only for the customer to be dissatisfied and feel they wasted their time. They talk about making recommendations, creating alternatives to meet effective customer service, and reviewing customer pain points. I think I'll even dwell more here on reviewing customer pain points because the customer pain point is the key place where we need to focus on. Okay. Okay, I think before I begin to talk about the customer pain point, someone is talking about not being able to get the training material. Okay, please just check the body of this training, scroll up, click on the read more, on the description of this training, click on the read more. When you click on the read more, you're going to see a link. It is written there to download training material. So you click on the link and you download the training material. I think if you follow that model, you can be able to understand what I'm talking about, Rebecca. Okay, now, so let's go back to what we were saying earlier, reviewing the customer pain points as part of the ways of improving customer retention. Now, pain points here are where customers feel frustrated when using that particular brand, using that particular service, using a product. So when a customer uses a product or a service, the pain points, the places of frustration, the points of frustration, the points of difficulties, these are pain points. So points of dissatisfaction, these are pain points that can be worked on such that at the end of the day, the customer is happy, the customer finds it easy and seamless to use that product, service, or use the product or the service or even the brand with regards to their pain point. So the pain point is eliminated, or the frustration they feel, or the difficulties they encounter using the product or the service are ameliorated there. Okay, I think that brings us to the summary of the customer retention. I think, of course, we are going even more. We're going even more faster because we spent a lot of time already from the first session. Okay, so now summarizing customer retention. Customer retention is a plan to reduce customer turnover or customer churn, and prevent the customer from defecting to the competition. So every single action or activity or plan that we will roll out to keep our customers with the organization, all it boils down to customer retention. So all those efforts, all those activities, it's called customer retention. Now, let's now move up to customer loyalty. Because if we retain the customer and at the end of the day they are not loyal to the brand, then there's an issue. But we want the peak place where every organization wants to move their customers to is to the point of loyalty. Loyalty to the brand. Loyalty to the brand is paramount, is top notch, such that at the end of the day, each customer who are with the brand, at least a large percentage of the customers with a particular brand should be loyal customers. Very much important. And when we have less loyal customers with an organization, then there's an issue. It has to be that it's an emergency which needs to be taken into consideration. Okay. Customer loyalty. Customer loyalty is a brand customer relationship that makes customers repeat purchases and at the end of the day consistently choose the brand over the competition. So if I'm a customer and I have a relationship with a brand, can they know that I'm loyal to the brand? If I repeat my purchases with that particular organization and I consistently choose them over the competition, then it means that I am loyal to that brand. So because if I see a competition that is offering similar service, similar products at the same rate, but I always choose a particular brand consistently, it means I am loyal to that particular cost. I am loyal to that brand. That's what it means. That's loyalty there. I consistently purchase from them. I believe that I'm getting more value, or even if I don't get more value, but I just prefer to use them. I'm loyal to that particular brand. So that's customer loyalty in the first instance. Okay, so now loyal customers. How do we identify loyal customers, or what depicts loyal customers? Of course, we are saying that loyal customers. Next on the slide, loyal customers stay with the brand, regardless the thick and the thin. When the brand goes through turbulence, the loyal customers will always stay with the brand. Loyal customers prefer quality always, of course. Loyal customers will always prefer quality of service at that is all the time. Then, when we talk about loyal customers preferring same quality, what we're saying here is that loyal customers prefer that the quality of service provided to them will not drop, because that is what kept them in the first instance. So they don't want a drop in the quality of service that is provided to them. So as retention officers must ensure that the quality of service that are being provided are consistent. Okay, then we'll go ahead to talk about cutting marketing costs. Yes, loyal customers can help an organization cut marketing costs in the sense that they spread the word. They spread the word because they are satisfied. They tell their friends. They bring new customers to the organization. They spread. They bring their friends. They bring their relative. They influence their immediate sphere of contact immediately. And at the end of the day, they are able to bring them to the brand or to the organization. Okay, that said, loyal customers serve as brand advocates. We've talked about that earlier before. That of course, loyal customers will always give honest feedbacks and are always willing to buy more. Loyal customers often give honest feedbacks because not all feedbacks are great, but loyal customers they don't give misleading feedback. They give feedbacks that are great for process improvement, for product development, for product improvement, whichever one it is. Loyal customers provide this feedback. Okay, now how then? What are the guidelines that can be implemented in creating when it comes to customer loyalty? So, as customer service agents, customer retention agents, it is imperative that we know this. Of course, clear communication channels when it comes to customer loyalty. Now, clear communication channels are to be maintained so that when they have issues, they can use the communication channels to communicate with the organizations, and at the end of the day, get their issues resolved. Now, clear communications channels also includes the prioritization of their issue, the efficiency of the service agents who are there, then the clarity of information, so they know what to expect and what not to expect. So that's one of the major guidelines when it comes to customer loyalty. Clear communications, clear communication channels for the customers with the brand. Then we go ahead to talk about hitch-free processes. Hitch-free processes would helps to improve customer loyalty, or a basic guideline for customer loyalty. If we're going to make customers to become loyal, it means that the processes of obtaining the services and the products of our organization needs to be hitch-free. Then technology-driven service can improve. Of course, this technology can help improve the services that are being delivered by an organization. This is very much important. Technology-driven services. They're talking about attractive loyalty packages. Well, when we have attractive loyalty packages, we find out that customers are often loyal. Customers are often loyal when it comes to attractive loyalty packages. Then finally, we talk about quality and satisfactory services. When customers get quality and satisfactory services, they remain loyal with the brand. They remain very, very loyal with the brand. Okay, that said, okay, this brings us to customer loyalty programs. Customer loyalty programs include freebies, like we said earlier, we gave a lot of them. Freebies, add-ons. When we talk about freebies here means like the free basics that our customers enjoy prior to the ones that they pay for. Free basics here are what we're referring to, to as the freebies. Then we'll talk about the add-ons. Like when you buy one, you get another one. Maybe you buy one, you get one free. You buy this, you get one. You purchase this, you get another thing. You get you get an additional thing added to what you bought. Take for instance, somebody who pays, let's say, a customer who purchases a hosting for a website and but gets an add-on, like an add-on, let's say a site security option as an add-on, of course. So that's more like an add-on. Then somebody buys a generator or buys a smartphone and they are given they are given a 3-month subscription as an add-on to the service, to the product or the service that they purchased. So that's is that. Then we'll go ahead to talk about gifts. We've emphasized on gifts, how gifts can can draw the loyalty of customers. Then we want to talk about promos. Promos are very much important because promos help to stay customers. Promos help to bring in new customers to the brand. Then we'll talk about points earning, where customers can purchase to earn points, and at the end of the day, they convert their points that have been earned into physical cash or into opportunities to buy more or into opportunities for discount, so they can earn points and use that point when making payments and the rest of that. Then we'll go ahead to talk about coupon codes. Coupon codes are used most regularly by organizations for them to use to give a discount or slash prices. So that said, we'll talk about value support. Value support is very, very imperative. Value support when the organization supports when the organization or the brand supports the value of a customer, of course, some of them will buy. A practical example is where customers are asked to make certain purchases. Okay, when they make this, when they purchase a gold plan, a basic plan, a gold plan, or a platinum plan, or a premium plan. Okay, let's take for instance, the customer purchases a gold, a basic plan, okay, and they just get what they paid for. When they purchase a gold plan, then it means okay, that from if they purchase a gold plan, they get to donate maybe XYZ amount to for the homeless, or for the homeless. Now, in that instance, they don't need to pay. So, but once they purchase this particular product on their behalf, we're going to be making a donation. So by that, to maybe a motherless babies home or to an orphanage home and the rest of that. So that's like a value support. So if I'm a person who value caring for orphanages, I can choose to go for that particular program, or for that particular loyalty program, and it works for me. So by purchasing from this organization, I am indirectly also making or sponsoring a child who is out of school, or sponsoring a child or who is hungry, feeding a child who is hungry, and the rest of that. So in that instance, that's value support, like supporting the values that I support. Then at the end, so it's more like a shared value between me and the organization, or between me and the brand. So because I purchase their products or their services, by doing that, I automatically are able to sponsor a child or feed a child somewhere. Okay, I think this is also very much important. Moving on to the next slide, we want to consider the very reason why loyalty programs fail. Because it's not just about having loyalty programs, but loyalty programs can fail because why? Of inconsistency. One of the major reasons. If loyalty programs are inconsistent, today it is we have loyalty program running this month. Next month loyalty program is not running. The upper month is running. The upper month is not running, and it's not even stable. It's running this month. Then next month it also runs. Then next month the loyalty program is scrapped. Then the third month the loyalty program runs again. So the inconsistency is the disparity in inconsistency is much. So you find out that despite an inconsistency are much, and we cannot be able to reconcile them. So customers themselves will find it difficult to trust the loyalty program. Then talk about insincerity, where we tell customers you will get this, because so when they make XYZ purchases, we find this play out when those brands deceive their customers into making purchases and promising them, making sincere promises, such that the customers, after making the purchases, at the end of the day, they don't get the promises delivered to them. So this is where insincerity comes. No customer wants to keep doing that because nobody wants to keep being fooled. Okay, then we'll go ahead to talk about the next one, unredeemable prices. Remember, when we're talking about unredeemable here, we're making reference here to points, and that's at the end of the day, the customer has these points, but they can't be able to redeem it, or there are maybe there are issues with the timeline or whatever it is, and at the end of the day, the customer is unable to redeem the customers are unable to redeem the points that they have earned by interacting with the brand. Then we're going to talk about the next one, which is poor loyalty credits. When the loyalty credits are poor, it means that the customers will feel they are not getting enough value. They're not getting enough value because, if let's take for instance, they are high network high network clients or high network customers who heavily patronize the organization, and if the loyalty credit that is being awarded to these clients who bring in a large chunk into the organization, then if the loyalty credit that we offer as an exchange is poor, then or is very low, then you know that these customers will just begin to look elsewhere. They will not have they won't be loyal with the brand. Then another one is family and friends. When loyalty programs are just for family and friends, all the gifts and all that we said that customers will win, only our family and friends, relative, people that we like their faces are the ones winning them, then there is an issue. There is an issue because there is partiality, and the people who it is meant for aren't getting it. Or more importantly, so in this case, these are the cases that just these are not just all the cases, but these are some of the cases that makes loyalty programs fail. So no matter how hard organizations plan or brands plan towards it, but as long as they have these kind of disparities or irregularities within their systems, then there's an issue because the loyalty programs are bound to fail. Now, that said, it brings us to the summary of the customer loyalty program. So, what exactly is customer loyalty? It says that it requires total attention. It requires attention on customer behaviors. That's customer loyalty requires the total attention of customer that is on customer behaviors by the customer retention officers. So, as customer retention officers, we are paying close attention to the customer behavior so that we can provide adequate and real-time feedback to the management, and they can make adjustments where necessary. Okay, I think that said, which is very much detailed, it brings us to the end of this particular training. Okay, now remember we said that the training materials are in the description of the training. In this training, just scroll down and see the description of the training. Click on it, and you can be able to download the training material and proceed from there. Okay, so you can take that. So we've come to the end of the training, and I'm going to be taking the questions thus far. Let the questions come in, so we can just answer them and close the classes. Okay. Okay, so I think we have one question here from Abdullah Yusuf. He says, is data analytics and use of Power BI tools like Power BI a core part of customer retention process? Okay, of course, yes. These data analytic tools, Microsoft, are also used in processing the results, in processing the details, the data that are gathered from customer retention, as the customer retention process. We use the Power BIs can be used, Microsoft can be used, even Google Sheets can also be used, because at the end of the day, Google Forms are used. So at the end of the day, you see, it's automated. I think the one I'm even more familiar with is the Google Forms, where Google Forms helps even in processing the information such that at the end of the day, you can see the graphs are plotted. You see it has infographics, provides information on that as well. Okay, I think that answers. Power BI can be used. Of course, there are tools that which are core part of it. But I'm saying not just only Power BI. but we also have the Google Forms there that they are useful when it comes to processing the data for that is processing the data harnessed from customer retention. Okay. Okay, I think Anna Olayemi is asking for the material. I just said that check the training, different description of this training, and you will see the link for you to download. So just kindly click on it and download. Okay, I think that's said. Um, of course, most people, okay. Um, Okay, so, Ibrahim Yusuf is talking about customer turnover. When customer turnover just practically means customers and coming in and leaving, coming and leaving into the organization. So that's customer turnover. Customers coming into the organization and leaving. Customer coming into the organization and leaving. That is what is termed customer turnover. So that is it. So when we don't want customers to come and leave, we want customers to come and stay. That is why we're even having this training in the first instance. As customer retention officers, your job role is to make sure that the customers who come into the organization does not leave. So that is what I think that explains that. Okay. I think Saad Fatima says basically the Google workspace tools, right? Yes. What I'm saying is Google Forms are mostly used. Of course, these are the Google Office tools, but Google, I'm making specific, I'm being more specific. Google Forms, the Google Forms are filled by the retention officer, but it all depends on which one the option decides to use. They can use the Power BI tool, but often some option use Google Forms, where the retention officers fill the Google Forms themselves. When they get when they run the questionnaires with the customers, they fill the questionnaires themselves and submit. So the retention managers now process this information or process the data gathered or submitted by the retention officers. I think that is clear now, Saad. Okay, I think that is all. Since there are no more questions. Okay, so we'll be ending the session right now. So for everyone who have participated and who has sent the links, the learning assessments, the link to learning assessments will be sent to you. Then take for instance, if you participated just because you were previously a subscriber on this particular platform, that's okay. We're going to also attach the link, but that link is going to be there for a time frame. We're going to be attaching the learning assessment link in the description of this training as well. So within 48 hours, check again. So because that is going to be for the period of 72 hours, we will place the learning assessment link right away after this training. The learning assessment link will be placed the same, just slightly below where the training materials are, where the link of training material is placed, such that you can also take the learning assessment. Because everyone who take the learning assessment and they perform excellently well in the learning assessment will also get their certificates sent to them. Okay, so I think that is that, and we'll share further information also. But for those who got the training link sent to them via email, you get the learning assessment details sent to you again via email as well. And at the end of the day, we'll close the session. Remember that the training link and the training that is the materials and also the learning assessment links will not be there forever. Of course, they'll be taken down once the management decides it is due. Okay, I think that is that. Okay, returning back to the comment section, somebody said something. That is Mabel Ezema says, please, where does CRM2 come in customer retention? Of course, CRM tools is also used for customer relationship management. Customer relationship management. Remember, customer relationship management is one of the or is a part of customer retention. It's the things that are being done to manage the customers. Like when we're talking about CRM, customer that's the CRM tools now. CRM tools are used to also enter the details, just like we have when we're talking about Power BI, we're talking about the Google Forms. Their CRM tools are automated tools that the customer retention officers can also use. Take, for instance, live chats that are being used by the retention officers or by the customer service officers is they are part of CRM tools. So, and from that chat, there are a lot of the chat itself. If they are a very robust live chat that the organization is using, it can provide analytics. It can provide the analytics that will be used to measure the customer's experience with the brand. So that's what we're saying. CRM tools also come in. CRM tools also play a part in customer retention. So it's one of the tools, like we have the Google Forms, like we also have the Power BI. I think that is very clear here. Okay. Ibrahim Yusuf, he says, isn't there any further plans about placement? Please refer to the emails that were sent to you. There were first emails that were sent to you. Please, Ibrahim Yusuf, refer to that email. Every detail was written in that email that was sent to you. Please refer to it. Okay, because we are live here, so we'll not be saying anything about that. Just refer to the email that was sent to you. Okay, I think that said brings us to the end of this particular training. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for attending and participating.